Hey there, everyone. Josh Blalock here, and I am with Irena and Andonova from Microsoft. Irena, thanks for taking time to chat with me today. We are here at M365 conference, and we just came out of your session. It was a great session, very informative. What was it on, just for those that are catching up?
Yes. Hey. Hi, everyone. And thank you, Josh. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Of
What did
course.
we talk about? Well, of course, about AI in the physical space and intelligent spaces. And what are these intelligent spaces? So
Okay.
when we think about walking into a space
Yeah.
which can help you do your own best work, which can be proactive, understand the context,
Yeah.
take action. That's the vision for intelligent space.
Okay. And it was packed full of good future facing, what you guys are working on now, what's coming out. So that was exciting. And this session was closely tied to your role. So before we get any further, how about a little introduction to what your role is at Microsoft?
Sounds good. Well, everyone, my name is Irena. I lead the product team for anything to do with Teams devices. That is phones, rooms, panels, peripherals, and of course, how do you manage and deploy at scale through device management?
And there was a lot of good updates actually on that in this session about the
Absolutely.
Pro Portal, the consolidation there, which is exciting for IT admins. Very good stuff. Now you cover a lot of devices, which for me working at Shure is exciting, right? Because that's our area. But specifically today, I want to focus in on meeting rooms,
Mhm.
especially as they relate to the AI powered workplace and Microsoft's vision there. Kind of during the keynote, one of the things that jumped at me was this concept of work IQ.
Mhm.
And so this kind of seems to cover a lot of the areas from within our organization that we are pulling data from to feed back to
Mhm.
Copilot and Facilitator and all that. And so I'm curious, as you guys are, it's been a while now that Facilitator has been talked about, it's been shown. What have you seen from customers on an adoption level? Have you seen some real good use cases of how customers are taking what you've shown them and making it their own and applying that within their organizations?
Yeah, yeah, very good question. And facilitator, an agent that can help you as a user before, during, or after meetings. Like I miss a
Yes.
meeting, I have a lot of meetings on my calendar, and if I miss a meeting and I need to catch up or I join late, well, facilitator there to help me
Yeah.
catch up with recap, and that is like a very, very high value AI
Yes.
capability to our users, and we hear a lot of very positive feedback. What happens if their meeting room that was involved in the meeting? Catching up on recap, how do I know who was in the meeting room? How do
Right.
I know who sat in the meeting room? Who said what in the meeting room? So recognition in the meeting room is a paramount when it comes down to AI artifact
Yeah.
and the value an agent like facilitator can provide. So this is a big area of investment for us, whether it's through audio or visual cues to understand the context, understand and recognize the participants in the meeting room.
And that was a central theme in the session actually that Sohail actually covered was the whole recognition piece
Absolutely.
as foundational.
Absolutely.
And I think that's you guys are making it easier as well. I particularly like the kind of proactive prompting, right? There's a bit of a adoption speed bump that I think users have run into with it takes time and effort to log in and record your voice. You're making it easier for
Absolutely.
users to how is that? How are you guys accomplishing that?
Well, today, users can enroll, as you're
Yeah,
saying, like, hey, you go to the team settings in the Teams app and you can capture a sample of your voice and you can also capture your face
right.
and you're enrolled. However, there is a lot of reasons why users may not be doing that.
Yeah.
So as you heard, we're making that easier because in a live meeting, we can capture a prompt and we can prompt the user to consent. And by
Yes.
all means, like consent and governance are paramount. So
Yes.
we would always have the user consent, but we make it a lot easier for the user to discover how to do that and to do so, which then helps the output of AI and the AI artifacts which are created.
Yeah. I love the proactive nature of it. The other thing I like about it is that as we've talked to customers about it on the manufacturer side and even consultants, you often have to frame that as an opt-in, the old way, as an opt-in experience, right?
Mhm.
But this new experience actually has an opt-in button.
It
right? So
has a consent. Like,
yes,
so
yeah,
yes, I do agree to be captured because there is value to me as a user. Like,
right,
if I want, we were in a meeting together and I want to make sure that the people who were not in the room can follow up properly with the information that was captured or any action items, or if an action item was assigned to me properly. So
right.
that is the value to me as a user to consent and have and be enrolled and make sure I'm properly recognized.
Yeah, and that goes directly to the concept of workflows changing with all these updates,
Mhm,
all that's going on. We're at the beginning of a lot of workflow changes for organizations, I think, right? We're going to start to see, okay, we're not just understanding what's possible with Copilot and Facilitator. We've now begun to adopt it. And as the months go on, it's becoming a regular part of every meeting we have. We
mm.
we expect to go back and talk to our virtual coworker, facilitator, and do some follow-up items. Right.
Absolutely.
And so I'm curious, kind of how I'm starting to look at this for meeting rooms, particularly, is if you have a meeting room in this future state a few months from now, a year from now, where these workflows have all changed, this
Hmm.
is the expected way we behave in our organization. If you go into a meeting room that's not properly equipped, or maybe it's got BYOD, right?
Hmm.
Um, then you don't necessarily have the assurance that facilitator is capturing all that, that all the transcription is happening the way it should be. You're potentially having gaps there.
Hmm.
So I'm curious, what is Microsoft's kind of stance, right? Because you guys have made it to where you can inventory and keep track of your BYOD rooms
Yep.
now. Um, but what is the recommendation as you move toward a more full fledged AI powered workplace, and you're adopting these new workflows? What do customers need to think about a couple years from now as they have some of these more legacy approaches to meeting rooms?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually have a very good example of where we have this feature of, like, I walk in a meeting room. A lot of us go to the office.
Yeah,
You and I go to a meeting room, we have a conversation. Well, if it's a meeting that was scheduled, there's facilitator, there's notes and
yeah,
so on. But if it wasn't, we just walked in a room, then how do we capture notes? Note taking is like almost ubiquitous.
yeah, yeah.
So if you don't have that capability in the room, now you're already at a loss.
Right.
So with this concept, we think about almost like having a brain in the room.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
brain in the room can help us proactively do things and capture notes, for
yeah,
that matter.
yeah,
That's a very simple example. And as well as I spoke about recognition, being able to properly attribute and create these artifacts for us,
yeah,
regardless of whether there was a scheduled meeting or not. If you don't have the brain, um,
yeah.
aka the MTR,
Right,
in the
right.
room, those type of experiences will be lost.
That's gaps in your data at
It
that
is
point.
definitely gaps in the data. It's gaps in the value for the users that are
Right.
present in the meeting. There was no remote attendees.
Yeah.
And we actually have
Yeah.
quite a few meetings at Microsoft that
Yeah,
happened
just in
without
person.
remote. Yeah, in person.
Yeah.
Yes, like looking at the whiteboard and capturing what the discussion was, what was the follow up, and so on.
Yeah.
So that is where this quote unquote brain comes
Right.
into play. So to your point, yes, we in Pro Management Service, we help customers inventory their rooms and spaces to understand, first of all, what they have,
Yes.
because these
Yeah.
BYOD rooms are often at a loss. Sometimes admins wouldn't even know what's in them. Okay, that's step one. That's good. Like, let's do some discovery.
Yes. Yeah. Know what you have.
We can then look at, like, maybe we can offer you recommendations based on how these rooms are used or not used. We can make recommendations of where, like, hey, there's a lot of activity happening in a room, but you don't
Yeah.
know, you're missing out on what that activity might be.
Right.
And then there is value lost to the users. There is productivity loss, potentially. So that is where, thinking ahead, if you're thinking ahead, what should go in these spaces.
Yeah.
And I speak about spaces because they can be, in some cases, big rooms, small rooms. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Open collaboration
Open
spaces.
collaboration,
Yeah.
exactly. So all of these spaces are becoming, and the workflows are changing in a
Yes.
way, the way we work has already changed with AI producing documents or brainstorming with
Yeah.
us. But now, like where we work is also changing because
Yeah.
these spaces, they can easily become lost dark spaces, and we don't
Right.
want to have dark spaces.
And that reporting is so good for that because
Absolutely.
as you establish these workflows and it becomes the way that you're starting to work more, you don't any of those gaps that we talked about in data that breaks the workflows for people. And it's when you start to get the reporting and see, oh, these are all the dark places
Yeah.
where we're breaking workflows and gaps in data. It's good to know that so you can
e-
start to plan ahead.
Exactly. I mean, that's the big thing is like helping our customers look ahead and plan
Yeah.
of like keeping smart spaces. I don't know if that's a good term, but intelligent spaces that can become proactive instead of having the dark spaces.
Yeah, exactly. It's just part of the way we're moving forward. It's the strategy that customers are adopting, right? If you as an organization are moving into AI and you are accepting that as part of your workplace and your workflow, you need to know this.
Okay.
Let's switch gears before we wrap up on future facing stuff. And
Hmm.
I won't put you in an awkward spot and ask about roadmap, right? But just kind of a little visionary look into the future. One of the things that occurs to me, right, is we talk about the data in that room.
Hmm.
And so as I think to the future and I think about, well, what else do we need to plan for when we're making decisions now as IT leaders? What do we need to plan for with equipment, with our platform? What's coming to the next wave of AI powered workplace? And one of the things that occurs to me is some of the data in that room that we're kind of capturing now visually, but not necessarily using in Copilot or Facilitator yet,
Hmm.
right? A facial reaction,
Hmm.
sentiment in the room that's not spoken.
Hmm.
These are things that are part of the context of what occurred in that collaborative session, but that we're not yet baking into Copilot. So to me, I'm thinking that's probably an area where I see capabilities evolving over time. But I'm curious your perspective on where do you think people need to be when they're planning for the next couple years? What are the themes that they need to be letting bubble to the surface to make sure they're not just solving right now for AI powered workplace, they're thinking ahead as well?
Yeah, but very interesting question. And the way I think about this, in a lot of the highly impactful meetings, like executive meetings, there is always a chief of staff or an exec admin or somebody who is taking care of everything in the space,
Yeah.
whether it's the readiness of the room, making sure that everything runs
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
notes, of course, are taken, making sure that everybody can equally participate. Like Josh is not sitting on the back working on his laptop and not paying attention, for
Right.
example,
Right. Yeah.
or something
I don't
else,
do that. I don't do that.
never,
Yeah.
or something was said and Irena reacted in a way but didn't express, or perhaps I was quiet.
Yeah.
So, how do we capture that context of the room? How is this like having this very helpful host in every space? So, I think of like having I kind of this host that is in every space
Okay.
that can help facilitate the conversation, understand and anticipate the needs of the users to have that seamless collaboration.
Yeah.
So that is the vision we have, having this host
That
everywhere.
host there, yeah. And I think that's where the beauty of better together with Microsoft and Shure comes together from my perspective. You talk about the brain in the room. Shure brings a best in class eyes and ears to that brain, right? For the
Absolutely.
experience. So
Absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
some of the things that I've spoken in the past with Shure is incredible audio pickup
Yeah.
and understanding, hey, in the boardroom, that conversation on the back was private. Maybe that should not be transcribed.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So
Right.
that is a very good example of reading and understanding the context of the room
Love it.
and having a great host.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much for taking the time today. Great session. And I hope this was helpful to all of you. Please go ahead and drop comments. And if you're seeing this on LinkedIn, drop them there. If you're seeing it on YouTube, there as well. And one of the two of us, I'm sure, will be monitoring the thread and replying if you have questions for either of us. But thank you so much for joining me today, Irena.
Thank you, Josh. My pleasure.